We provide innovative solutions in marine infrastructure, and we keep moving forward, whatever the challenge. See the bigger picture? We do more than just build infrastructure.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to FICCI's Dredging Conclave. May I request all of you to kindly keep your phone either on silent or if you can switch it off, nothing like it. Just give us a couple of moments and we will immediately start with the opening session. Without any further ado, I would like to request Mr. Durgesh Kumar Dubey, Deputy Chairman, Vishakhapatnam Port Authority and Managing Director and CEO, Dredging Corporation of India, to kindly join us on the dais, please. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I would also request Dr. Ameya Pratap Singh, Managing Director, Dharti Dredging and Infrastructure Limited, to kindly join us on the dais. Join us in welcoming Mr. H.N. Aswath, Advisor, Development Advisor, Ports, Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Government of India. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Before we start, in keeping our commitment towards sustainability, instead of presenting our dignitary a bouquet of flowers, we present a thicket of trees. Ladies and gentlemen, the certificate is our commitment to plant trees in the name of our guest at the Trees for Ecotourism, Somgo, Sikkim. I would request Mr. Mana Majumdar, Senior Advisor, FICCI, to kindly present the green certificate to Mr. Durgesh Kumar Dubey. Thank you, Mr. Dubey, for joining us today. It's indeed humbling to see how the Dredging Corporation of India, under the vision of Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, is leading modernization efforts, including fleet upgrades and capability enhancement to meet the domestic and international demands in the dredging industry. As India charts a course towards becoming a global maritime leader, dredging has emerged as a very vital pillar for our port and coastal infrastructure. With growing emphasis on sustainable dredging, in line with global environment standards and India's net zero vision, the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways has revised its dredging guidelines to reflect this shift. Today, at this program, we aim to delve deeper into the trends shaping the dredging sector and explore India's indigenous capabilities. To proceed with the formal opening session, I would request Mr. Madhav Majumdar to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Komal. Good morning, dignitaries on the dais, of the dais, ladies and gentlemen. Sri Durgesh Kumar Dubeji, Dr. Amiya Pratap Singh, Sri Ashadji, dignitaries, industry representatives, diplomats, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all this morning to FICCI Dredging India Conclave 2025. I am delighted to see such an august gathering of sector specialists, industry stalwarts, and of course policymakers who are shaping the future of India's dredging sector. A word of special welcome to our dignitaries, Sri Dubeji, Dr. Singh, and Sri Ashadji, for kindly taking your time off and joining us. We most appreciate your valuable presence. Ladies and gentlemen, the conclave's theme, strengthening India's maritime infrastructure and resilience, is, you will agree with me, both timely and most relevant. In the Indian context, dredging is certainly not a peripheral activity, but it is definitely a core enabler of maritime and overall economic growth. As we deliberate on the future of dredging in India, it's also imperative to focus on technological advancements, innovation, and capacity building, which will be critical in meeting the demands of our expanding maritime infrastructure as well as other national aspirations. I am pleased to note that this conclave has been carefully designed and structured to address key priorities in the dredging sector and to explore emerging global trends and themes, including building indigenous dredging capabilities, use of AI, automation, and green fuels. I'm confident our deliberations, discourse during this conclave, it would serve as a catalyst for meaningful dialogue, exchange of ideas, and devising actionable strategies that will propel our industry forward. Of course, I'm not here to make a long speech because I'm quite aware that we are looking forward to hear the speakers in this session and, of course, in the session that follows. So, I would like to welcome you all once again and look forward to a very, very meaningful, productive, and outcome oriented deliberations during the day. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir, for this very warm welcome. I would now request Dr. Amiya Pratap Singh to set the context of the conclave and share industry perspective.
Good morning, everyone. I am delighted to be able to warmly welcome the respective dignitaries on this august occasion. It is not often one gets the opportunity to step back and reflect upon the state of their industry. To that extent, I would like to thank FICCI for taking the initiative to organize this conference under what I am sure have been very trying circumstances. I have two onerous responsibilities today. One, I think, is to reduce the average age of the conference, which I'm happy to do. And second, to lay out the context, the sort of state of the field. It is heartening to see major growth and landmark developments in India's dredging sector with increased focus on expanding India's indigenous capabilities, both in terms of manufacturing as well as executing key capital and maintenance dredging projects across India's major and non-major ports. To achieve greater economies of scale, shipping fleets are expanding in size and capacity. As a consequence, ports are increasingly prioritizing deeper berths and navigational channels to accommodate larger vessels, boost cargo volumes, and enhance revenue. This evolution is being further propelled by advancements in technology, a strong push towards sustainability, such as eco-friendly dredging equipment, and the growing adoption of automation across operations. The Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, under the leadership of the Honorable Minister, Shri Sarbanand Sonowalji, and Minister of State, Shri Shantanu Thakurji, has undertaken landmark projects to enable the seamless movement of larger vessels, including India's first megaport in Vadhavan, Maharashtra, in the success of which dredging and reclamation are going to be key contributors. There are also, of course, other ambitious projects, such as the development of a transshipment port in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Considering the significant enhancement of India's port infrastructure, the share of capital dredging in India's dredging market is expected to rise sharply. The Ministry of Ports has also emphasized the need for sustainable dredging practices by introducing guidelines that promote the beneficial reuse of dredge material. Initiatives like Waste to Wealth are encouraging the use of dredge material for construction and environmental enhancement, such as beach nourishment. Additionally, in line with the Honorable Prime Minister's Make in India initiative, the country's largest trailing suction hopper dredger, named the DCI Dredge Godavari, is being indigenously manufactured with a hopper capacity of 12,000 cubic meters. This state-of-art dredger, once operational, will significantly enhance India's dredging capabilities and prowess. It also continues to demonstrate that the Dredging Corporation of India remains a market leader and flag-bearer innovator. Indigenous manufacturing represents a major opportunity in this sector. At present, limited domestic manufacturing capacity has led to high dependence on imported machinery and spare parts. Strengthening local production capabilities would not only reduce lead times for delivery and support more efficient and timely execution of dredging projects, it would also create opportunity for design and manufacturing tailor-made for India's dredging needs. It is lesser known that the company I represent, Dharti, was a startup born out of a dredger manufacturing enterprise at Tebma shipyard many moons ago. It is indeed time to go back to our roots. India has also made significant strides in terms of unlocking the potential of its inland waterways, with dredging again being a key contributor. For example, with respect to newly commenced scheduled cargo services in River Ganga and River Brahmaputra. The growth being seen in cargo volumes as well as passenger movement is only expected to accelerate further in the time to come as road and rail logistics become congested and freight volumes rise. The inland market is also unlocking new use cases for dredging, especially that of flood prevention. The Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Shri Yogi Adityanath ji, solved the annual flooding problem of Lakhimpur Kheri district by dredging the 7.5-kilometer Sharda Canal. The UP administration had earlier proposed the construction of an earthen dam expected to cost about 180 crore rupees. Instead, dredging was able to solve the same problem for 22 crore rupees. In time to come, I am certain we will see the use of dredging for such innovative purposes, such as that of soil remediation, perhaps to clean the river Yamuna, for capacity augmentation of water reservoirs, especially as rapid urbanization puts increasing stress on water as a resource, and for dam desilting projects, perhaps even to hold greater volumes of water in the river Indus. The scale and ambition of these efforts reflect India's intent to not just expand capacity, but to lead with sustainability and resilience at its core. And to fully capitalize on this opportunity, we require an ecosystem approach, collaborating through PPP to develop resilient infrastructure and make dredging practices more and more sustainable. Together, we can chart navigable depths to global standards, making India's maritime sector a significant contributor to our national economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Singh, for setting the context. May I now request Mr. H.N. Aswath, Development Advisor, Ports, Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways, to give us a glimpse into the technical detailing of the dredging sector. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Irja Singh ji, I know her since 7-8 years, and our colleague Dubey ji, the Deputy Chairman and also Managing Director of Dredging Corporation of India, and the representatives of all the dredging companies. Before going into the details of the technology and other things related to dredging, let me tell you the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways has drafted the Vision 2047 in order to make India go into the 5 trillion economy and also to see India in amongst the developed countries by 2047. We want to develop the port facilities which should be having the capacity much more than the traffic envisaged by 2047. So we have a huge plan to develop port facilities for 10,000 capacity port facilities we are going to develop. We have already planned so many things like developing the shipyards and developing the mega ports like Vadhavan, which will be one of the major top 10 ports among the world. So, having said that, all this Majumdarji was telling that dredging is an enabling activity like that. I must say this is a critical activity which is needed to start the port operation. So it is not just an enabling activity, it is a critical activity at any place. Unless you have the navigable depth, you cannot go ahead. So this is a critical activity which has to be there in place. Suppose for a Vadhavan port, where we are envisaging around 20 million TEU traffic in the port. So we are expecting more than around 30 million cubic meter of dredging to take place, and so that the vessels, because earlier when I entered the service some 30 years ago, we were seeing only fourth generation vessels, the container vessels carrying only 4,000 TEUs. Now we are seeing 18,000 TEU vessels coming into India, and for that we have to gear up for increasing our depth. Whatever the present depth which was available, whatever the past depth which was available from 10 meters, now we have at all the major ports, the 12 major ports, around 14 meters, and some ports even have 18 meters. And we are also happy some of our non-major ports do have around 20 meters like Gangavaram and all. They could develop it. And in the coming years, the Vadhavan is also going to develop 20-meter draft in future, so that even by the time it is going to be operational, we are expecting at least around 20,000 TEU vessel would be coming into our ports. So having said that, Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, seeing these developments, has taken number of steps. First and foremost is way back in 2021, seeing the necessity for guidelines for dredging sector, we have developed this dredging guidelines for major ports. Though it is called dredging guidelines for major ports, it also go into the details of all the aspects of dredging, whether it is technological aspects or other commercial aspects, including how you can go for PPP in the dredging sector. So this will throw light on various aspects. Some of the things I can list out is reuse of dredge materials, which is a major concern, because we were discussing in the boardroom. I was told that there is a concern for environmental angle and sustainability. So taking that into consideration, we have given a details about how you can reuse the dredge materials, especially in riverine ports like Calcutta, wherein you are having around 15 million cubic meter of dredge soil, which you, if you can reuse it, so you can separate it and make it as sand and other material. So you can use for number of purpose. We have listed some engineering uses like land creation, land improvement, then shore protection. All these things have been listed in the dredging guidelines. And coming to the other aspect like PPP mode, we have already made it a point to give the dredging also together with the projects for the terminal developer. So whoever comes forward, for example, in Paradip Port, we are developing Western Dock with a capacity of around 30 million ton capacity. And there we have given the dredging also to the PPP operator because he will be having free hand to develop his own terminal along with the dredging and all. So this kind of developments, it is taking place, and in the coming years, I am sure that with the increase in the dredging fleet, one more thing I would like to mention is there is a shortage of dredging fleet in India. Because we have two big companies. One is the Dredging Corporation of India, other is the Adani Dredging, means Adani Ports and SEZ company. But together we do not have enough dredging fleet. So realizing that, we have already advised the Dredging Corporation of India into go into expand their dredging fleet, and they are coming up with, means one dredger is being built in CSL with capacity, hopper capacity of 12,000 cubic meter. So that is not enough, and we are going for one more in the coming years based on the delivery time and all and the performance of the company. So in the coming years, the dredging fleet is also going to increase. I hope the other companies, the small companies or the big companies, they are going to develop their dredging fleet so that in the coming years, by another 10 to 15 years, when we are having another 3-4 mega ports, we do not have shortage of dredging fleet. So once again, I thank you, the organizers and all the our dredging fraternity, and I call upon the dredging fraternity to make use of this expansion plan of the ministry. Of course, our minister was supposed to come because of the situation here and also in some Assam, so he couldn't make it. So I once again thank and finish my this thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asfadji. We completely agree with you. Dredging is most critical when it comes to ports, and we will hear more from you in the next business session. Without any further ado, I would now request Mr. Dubey to kindly deliver the special address.
Good morning to Aswad sir, dignitaries on the diocese, of the diocese, and I'm seeing many faces from dredging fraternity. My best wishes to all of them. This small program of Vicky is one step forward for a big leap in the coming year. Why I'm saying this thing? If you analyze after the liberalization in 1991, the governments started making focus on improving the infrastructure. And the first step was to focus upon roads. In 1999, I recollect we were very young at that point of time, doing preparation for civil services and all those things. And I was listening to the speech of Jaswant Singh. He was at that time finance minister. And they requested will add 1 rupee cess on these diesel and petrol. Lot of opposition was there, and but the government moved ahead and they made a corpus fund. And I realized this result after some time. When I got selected, I went to my hometown. So normally from Lucknow to Ajamgarh, and those people who are there, and they will realize it used to take 8 to 9 hours. I reached in 4 hours. That was my first experience with the NHI, and that changed my total perceptions. Coincidentally, I joined in railways. I got railway traffic services. Again in 2014, this dedicated freight corridor, all of a sudden, though it was there, all of a sudden it picked up. And we saw that in next 5-6 years, this DFC from Delhi to Bombay and Delhi to Kolkata is working. And one major problem of railways, that is particularly the coaching trains, they were suffering a lot during the winter seasons. That now has come down drastically because the goods traffic uh, from basically coal coming from Bihar and Jharkhand and Odisha going to northern parts of Delhi, Rajasthan and Haryana, that shifted on DFC, dedicated freight corridor. This year in the budget, the government has started Maritime Development Fund, purpose of Maritime Development Fund. And the second is the SDC, Sagarmala Development Corporation Limited, Company Limited. It has got the status of NBFC. So I see that next 20 years will be for this maritime sector. And dredging is a part of that maritime sector, very integral part. Because if you see this dredging, there are two segments in dredging sector. One where we are focusing on port, bigger port, capital dredging. Another sector is that small shipping sector. Therein also it is very important. I will explain it. That it is that dredging, how dredging is helping us in the growth and development of the nation as such. Port, I am coincidentally holding the post of Deputy Chairman and MD both. So I am aware of both aspects. The port development, port-led industrialization, we used to read at Vizag port, Vishakhapatnam port or Gangavaram port, it is a real example of port-led industrialization. We see that, and because of that, Vishakhapatnam became industrial hub of Andhra Pradesh. All the basic facilities which you can think of, it is because of HPCL, RNL, Coromandel, Nalco, AMNS, and you will not find any other city of that stature in Andhra Pradesh. And past there were two cities, Hyderabad and Vishakhapatnam. Now after the reorganization, one city, that is Vishakhapatnam as industrial hub. And because of that, all kinds of basic infrastructures, road connectivity, rail connectivity, air, everything is a good hospitals, good schools, and a cosmopolitan culture. That is available there. So this is the importance and why these things happened. Because when RNL was planned, when HPCL was planned, they knew that they have to import the cargo. So for importing the cargo, port is required. And that is the port-led industrialization. And recently, my Honorable CM from Andhra, he has coined port-led economy. Andhra having a coastal line of around 1,000 kilometers next to only Gujarat, definitely have that capacity to develop and grow. In the bigger sector where we are handling very high trailer section hopper capacity of 4,000 and above, there are 2-3 giant players are there. After joining as MD DCI, I have interacted with them and seeing the requirement of the country. In next 20 years, lot of ports will come up, lot of dredging activity will come up. As I envisage, I believe that if we have to touch 5 trillion economy, present ports may not be able to meet that requirement. And that is not the government analysis. That is the analysis of the industry. So I believe that that will be more realistic. So there's a lot of scope for this. And Recently, we thank that Vijayangam port. Why? Till date, for last 30, 40 years, all our transshipment cargo was going to Singapore or Sri Lanka. It was visualized by someone and it was made real. A dream was visualized and that dream came true. So now, this month only they have started and our Honorable PM inaugurated it. So the transshipment hub which is now coming up Vijayangam, I believe that a lot of foreign currency which was draining out of the country now will come up. In the same way, Galathea Bay is also in South Nicobar, located at a very prime critical location, connecting the Far East and Southeast and going to the main international sea route and touching Middle East, Africa, Suez Canal, Europe, America, and wherever. That will again give us an edge over our foreign competitors and other ports like Singapore and Malaysia, some other ports also. The second aspect here in the bigger sector where we require bigger trailer section hopper dredgers, definitely DCI is at present, being a premier player, is planning to go for replacements of its old dredgers plus increasing the fleet also. That is different because without that we can't be competitive in the market. Already we have the Godavari, which is supposed to come by this year, but next year definitely will come by next year. Beside that also, again we are looking for some more dredgers and we are developing our strategy. And as a dredging company, I will not be limited only to India. There's a acute fleet shortage. I'm again repeating, acute fleet shortage in whole of Middle East and Southeast Asia and South Asia. Acute fleet shortage. Why I'm telling? I'm sharing with my own personal experience. And when lot many ports are coming up, and particularly when industries are coming up, there also the demand is very high. So this is a very good news for ISC that definitely either I will buy or someone else will buy. I will definitely buy. That is no doubt. It is only a matter of time only. But there's other, because now AMNS is coming with 20 billion is at port at Nakkalli in Andhra Pradesh, where they are going to manufacture steel of 20 million tons annually. You see the huge potential, and they are going to have their own captive port. That captive port will definitely require maintenance. In the same way, other players, JSW is coming up with their own port in Odisha. Another port is coming into Mangalore. So now in these industries, they want their own port because they want to have export and import. So there is definitely a huge demand for this. Now, another demand is there where I will request ISC and other fleet operators. That is a small sector. We are not visualizing, but after this Maritime Development Fund and coming up, and the basic thing is that government focusing on siltation and increasing the capacity of our dams and reservoirs. This is a very huge demand. Recently we got one, because why it is important? If siltation is there and if you are not removing it, it is a hazard for that reservoir, and it is also diminishing the capacity, water holding capacity of that reservoir. So it is bound to, we have to do it. And all our dams, all our reservoirs for last 56 years, they have not been touched. Huge potential is there. And herein I will request ISC, please look into this aspect also for manufacturing. Your TSD, HD or cutter section dredgers after 10-15 years will be because that is all the dredgers have the life of 40 years. So there some after 10, 15 years, there will be some lull, gap will be there. But this sector is a new growing sector. Recently, we were discussing that uh, uh, because of the volatile situation in the country for last 1 week, we are not knowing that whether this we can have this convene this meeting or not. But good senses to some people, and we are here now. There also Indus water treaty, though I should not comment. Whatever there's a huge demand. There's the Indra Canal. I think all of us will be knowing the Indra Canal, starting from Punjab, coming to Rajasthan, up to Ganganagar. Second phase, third phase of Indra Canal is supposed to touch Gujarat. You see the implications, and if it is to be executed, you see the immense potential for it. If you have the water, and waterway is the cheapest and most eco-friendly and economical way of transportation. So this is the potential which we are having. Maintaining 4 to 5 meter of draft in these inland waterways or canals is a very big deal and a very big business. Because why? It is a recurring business. Every year you have to do it. You can't escape. And recently, for this purpose only, on 3rd June, Ministry of Home Affairs is going to convene one meeting where they are calling the Ministry of Jal Shakti and other important players. So now the government has started focusing on this aspect as well. So friends, there's a lot of potential. We need to collaborate, and DCI is definitely committed that it will take the lead for this part. But we need partners, we need investors, and we need good contractors to deliver the result. It is like a last mile connectivity. I have made good policy, I have made everything good, but if it is not delivered, then my whole efforts get diluted. So all of us stakeholders are there. I will again say thanks to all of you, and we are here to help all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dubeji, for an inspiring overview of the sector. This sector definitely holds immense potential and is extremely critical in paving the way forward towards a port-led economy. I now request Ms. Neerja Singh, Assistant Secretary General FICCI, to propose a formal vote of thanks.
Good morning. Indeed, it's a proud privilege and distinct honor to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of FICCI at this Dredging India Conclave 2025. We are grateful to Mr. Dubeji for being with us today and your inspiring address. All we hear is, yes, there's immense scope, there's a shortage of fleet, and that's the music to the ears of private sector. And that is all I would want to kind of highlight in this meeting, that before coming to this room, in the boardroom, we were sitting and discussing, and this has come out that the richest of rich who are there in dredging are in the dredging sector in Bombay. So there's an immense scope. Please take a note of this, and because there is an opportunity for all of us there. And especially speaking from an industry platform, being FICCI, I take this as a huge advantage. Aswatji, thank you very much for joining us. You surprised us by coming early, and we're very happy for that, for laying out a very clear guidelines of Government of India, Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways, dredging guidelines, and also highlighting the fleet shortage which came from your end. My special regards to Mr. Dr. Singh for laying out the context for today's program and bringing sustainability on the table, which we agree with you. is not a negotiating factor, it is an important factor that has to be incorporated in any plans that India makes going forward. Now, I would like to acknowledge our title partner, DCI, Dredging Corporation of India, for steering FICCI's agenda for today's conference. I would like to thank our sponsors for making this initiative happen today. It's with a combined vision of government, private sector, and academia and research that India is going to chart its way to the future of becoming a global maritime hub. To all our delegates who have joined us today, I request you to actively participate in the discussions in the ensuing sessions. They are technical sessions. You will be interacting with the experts from industry. You'll be expert from other stakeholders that are dedicated to advancing dredging technologies, infrastructure development, and maritime progress in India. With this, I thank you all for joining us today. I request you to take this vote of thanks with a round of applause for our distinguished speaker. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would request all speakers to kindly rise for a group photograph, please. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude the opening session, I request all of you to kindly remain seated. Kindly give us a couple of minutes for the housekeeping arrangement, wherein we will shortly begin our first business session of the day, please. Thanking again DCIL, Aswadji, for your presence today for the opening session. Mr. Aswad will be joining us again for the next session. Just a couple of minutes and we will start our business session 1.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll begin our first panel discussion for the day. May I request you all to please be seated, since we're starting our first business session on transforming India's landscape, focus on technology, policy, and indigenous capabilities. I'm pleased to invite our distinguished dignitaries for the session to please join our stage. Everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I kindly request you to be seated. We are immediately starting with our business session 1 for the day. Requesting Mr. Aswath. Kindly join us on the dais, sir. Mr. H.N. Aswath. Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, Head Business Development, Contracts and Engineering, Dredging, Adani Ports and SEZ. Mr. Kaushik Nandi, Vice President, ITD Cementation. Mr. Mahesh Zagade, Account Manager, India, NMDC Dredging and Marine. Mr. Ashutosh Gautam is joining us in a couple of minutes. We are honored to have with us Captain S. Divakar, Chief General Manager Operations, Dredging Corporation of India. Captain Divakar has been a cadet from All India Dredge Cater 1987 and since then has risen to the position of Master of Dredger. Having worked for over 35 years in both onboard dredgers and onshore, he has gained unique expertise of operations and techno-commercial aspects of dredging business. It's with pride we have him today as the moderator for this very important session that talks about transforming India's dredging landscape focused on technology, policy, and indigenous capabilities. Over to you, Mr. Divakar.
I request all the delegates to please be seated. We will start the first session now. We'll be starting our first session shortly, and we are expecting one of the delegates to join in between. And in the meantime, we will start the first session. Respected delegates, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, industry experts, policy makers, financiers, friends from media, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. As introduced, I'm Captain Divakar, Chief General Manager representing Dredging Corporation of India. I'm the moderator for the first business session, and it's indeed a great privilege and honor for me to be part of this dredging conclave, and more so to be a moderator for all these eminent speakers and industrial experts who have got about 30 to 35 years of experience in the same field. So it's a great honor for me to be part of this and to be a moderator. And I also extend very warm welcome to you all to this interesting and critical session on transforming India's dredging landscape. I further take this opportunity to thank FICCI for organizing such a wonderful event, Dredging Conclave, wherein we have industrialists, dredge owners, dredge contractors, dredge component suppliers, and dredge contractors across the globe, not only from India, and different parts of the world have come and be part of this occasion. And I'm sure with this August gathering, we'll be able to discuss and deliberate various issues, share knowledge, exchange our views about the change in the dredging landscape, especially not only in India and also globally, and especially on this PPP. When I say 4 Ps, we have a public, partner, and private partnership on this platform. So let's make use of this. And I just wanted to say, as India is accelerating its journey towards becoming a global maritime power, and dredging stands at the very foundation of that vision, enabling port expansion, maintaining the port channels for seamless navigation, inland waterways, coastal resilience, and blue economy. And today's discussion focuses on three powerful levers of transformation, that is technology, policy, and indigenous capabilities. And we'll be exploring emergency trends and cutting-edge innovations, forward-looking frameworks that can help us to build self-reliant, future-ready dredging ecosystem in India. The question before us to scale the dredging operations, but it's how to do it in a smarter, faster, in a sustainable way, while strengthening India's domestic manufacturing and research and development capacity. As I have mentioned, that we are joined by distinguished panels of thought leaders, industry experts, and policymakers, each bringing a unique lens to this evolving landscape. Here, my first question, especially on the policy, regulation, guidelines of dredging, goes to Mr. H.N. Aswad G, Development Advisor, Ports, Ministry of Ports, Shipping, Waterways, Government of India, and having a sufficient experience, about 30-35 years in the same decade in the port sector as well as the dredging sector. And whenever I know this is only panel discussions, and with his immense experience in the ministry, he'll be able to throw some light on that. And India is getting, India is gearing up for expanding its maritime infrastructure for future ready. That includes construction of mega ports like Vadwan and trying to meet international standards. Not only Vadwan, we are trying to have some more ports which are coming up there in the pipeline. And in order to meet this kind of a maritime infrastructure, we require a capital dredges, huge dredges, mega dredges are required, in order to meet the timelines as well as the cost and the time. But at this juncture, we have a shortage of equipment. We have a shortage of equipment in our country. So we have no option but to get foreign dredges, that's foreign flag dredges to India to take up this kind of a projects. But here, we have certain issues which we have been facing, such as, there are key ministries are involved in this. That is the Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Defense, and Ministry of External Affairs. So we require certain clearances. That is a security clearance for the company, and again, security clearance from the home ministry for the ship staff, and also that the security clearance from the defense. So these are the clearances. And also, once we take the clearance, it's not pertinent to the particular project. I mean, it's only pertinent to the particular project, but we want pan-India kind of a thing. So what's happening is that if you want to take up a project, because of these clearances, because of this multi-layered procedural system, that interministerial system, where we don't have that mechanism, the things are getting delayed. The project is likely to get started, maybe in 3 to 6 months' time. Thereby, we are losing the revenue, losing the profitability, and also we are not able to complete the projects on time. There are projects which are, time-specific, seasonal. Say, for example, we intend to take up a dredging project in Orissa. That's, from October to Jan. And we miss out this season, again, we have to go on to the next season. So these are the constraints what the dredge players, especially projects we have been facing. So can you throw some light on this and way forward for this, please, sir?
Thank you, Captain Divakar. Let me explain. Dredging project is not a simple project. Some of them, they think that dredging is simply excavation of the seabed and dumping at the designated site. What you need is a good planning. Okay, realizing that planning is necessary. Way back in, as I explained earlier, way back in 2021, we issued this dredging guidelines. This dredging guidelines not only focuses on this policy or some kind of aspects, it also focuses on how you have to plan a project. So you told that multi-ministerial issue for the security clearance. First of all, let me tell you why security clearance is necessary for capital dredging project. But you know, surveillance security is at most important aspect for India now. You know very well the attack on Dodge in Mumbai, which has questioned the security of our maritime sector. So, realizing that the security clearance from three different ministries, they are all important ministries. One is the Ministry of External Affairs, and Ministry of Defense, and Ministry of Home Affairs. Let me explain these three ministries what they do, because once you have given that this particular dredger, foreign dredger is coming to India, and we have some 40 personnel on board, and another some 20 will be added for leave this thing and all, and we need some local player also will be coming into picture, so you have to take the security clearance. So the Ministry of Ports and Shipping and Waterways, they collect this data and send it to these three ministries, and the Ministry of External Affairs in turn they send it to all the, suppose 60 personnel are there. You see this, all this personnel may not belonging to one country. They may belong to some 10 countries. For 10 countries, they have to get the credential. You know, one person who had entered India, what havoc he created. So that the kind of thing should not happen. So they will inquire each and every aspect about him, his credential, his police records, everything they will get to know. Then they will give the clearance. And also the defense ministry, because the equipment, you know, nowadays, if you go through our dredging guidelines, it gives the technological advancement what we have made, whether it is in terms of survey and topographic survey or the seabed survey. We have digitization and automation, and also data analytics and machine learning. All these are integrated in a dredger. It is not like old dredger what we used to see some 30 years back, because you also have 30 years back the kind of dredgers. Today the dredgers can determine what is the depth of the seabed, what kind of material is there. All that details you will be having in one listing, GPS integration. All these things will be there. So such equipment, whether it is capable of taking some data and transmitting it to some other country. So these things, the defense ministry, because they are the people who will be our submarines and all, they will be looking into it. So they will look into it, all these aspects, whether the equipment is instilled with all this kind of cameras where it can transmit or not, whether it is safe for the country. And the home affairs, again, they will look into the local, what we call security system. So these things may take around 2 months or 3 months. Earlier, it used to take long time. And thanks to our Secretary Saab, he took initiative. He met the Defense Secretary personally. Even the External Affairs, he visited 1 or 2 times. And now he has ensured that within 2 months, we are able to get all these clearances. And for this pan India, what you are telling, see, you know, 12 major ports are there, another 60 non-major ports are there. In each situation or in a port, the topography may be different, the environment may be different. So, what I could understand is, once you are getting the this security clearance, it holds good for at least 3 years in one place. In one place, it holds good. But for other location, when we ask for, he told the situation may change. So that is what they are telling. So of course, we are trying to convince them that in whatever is possible for pan India, what you are talking about, that way whether it is possible, but they are looking into it. But it is beyond our hand. But the three ministries, you told that interministerial issues, there is no interministerial issues. All these aspects are looked into separately, and then they give clearance, and then only it can be taken up. That is one aspect. And operational optimization, when we are talking about, here also, our, like I told, the project implementation, you have to plan it very well. Because Once they have given 3 years, you have to complete the capital dredging project. Suppose Vadavan, which is having around 20 million cubic meter, is coming up. So we may not be having capacity within India to undertake that work. So we might be involving the foreign players. But for them, we have to give all the data necessary, whether it is survey data or sea bed material data, geotechnical data, everything, if it is available, they would be able to do it within 3 years. Otherwise, if it stretches for 6 years, then you will be losing the time, and also the security clearance will not be valid. So I once again call upon all the companies to do the project planning for dredging very well in advance, and sit with all the 12 major ports, because we have given instruction to all the 12 major ports to keep all the survey data online, because their website should have enough data so that the dredging companies will be able to undertake the dredging activities and able to complete within the stipulated time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insight. And as you mentioned, that the project has to be taken into account. This has to be loaded onto this, the time lapses, and then we can. Yes, though it was earlier about 6 months and all, now the timelines have been reduced to 2 to 3 months by intervention of our honorable secretary. And hopefully the things will improve much faster, much better. Thank you very much for your insights, sir. Now my second question goes to Sri Astos Gautamji, member technical inland waterways, and has been experienced in these inland waterways with national roadways, and especially in the transport sector for the last 3 decades. And eminent leader, having a well exposure experience. And I would ask him one question, basically on the strengthening inland waterways dredging, that's boosting connectivity and economic growth. Here, especially we have been dredging in sea and the ports, it's well structured and well protected, and we don't face much of an issues when the system starts, when the dredging starts. And we also started entering into the inland waterways right now, and we start facing certain issues. And you have been in this industry for quite some time, and dredging being the critical aspect for maintaining the inland waterways channels, what are your challenges? How would you like to overcome these challenges, please?
Thank you, Diwakar Saab, and thanks, Vicky, for inviting me over here. Basically, first of all, I would like to share some of the information related to the riverine dredging. Mainly, dredging is treated to be an activity mainly related to sea dredging. However, once the Inland Waterways Authority of India that started around in 80s, the riverine dredging concept also started. Though some of the dredging for procuring construction materials, sand, mining, that kind of activity was there. But as far as maintenance of navigational channel in rivers, that organized activity that started later on. As far as main activity of dredging in rivers in India, it is being done in NW1 Ganga in around 1400 kilometers, in NW2 Brahmaputra around 700 to 800 kilometers. There were several challenges, as Diwakar Saab has stated, and I also agree with Ashwath Saab that it is a very critical activity. This may be a critical activity in terms of or with the perception of sea dredging, but it is more critical activity in terms of if we visualize the activity of dredging in rivers. I am finding some of the major stakeholders of IWI dredging contracts present over here. They may also share their views as well as their experiences, how they are finding it. But simultaneously with these challenges, we are going ahead gradually. And we have started around 11 projects in River Ganga, starting from Haldia to Varanasi. This is the stretch which has been declared as NW1, National Waterway 1. And we have also initiated few projects in Brahmaputra from Dhubri, that is the Bangladesh border, that is the confluence, not confluence point, but the point where Brahmaputra enters Bangladesh from Assam. And if we move upwards, then we come to Guwahati, and just upwards, upstream, we further move to Bogibeel, that is Dibrugarh. So up to Guwahati, the technical point is Pandu. Pandu is a riverine port of Inland Waterways Authority of India at Guwahati. So coming to Ganga, we have been facing lot of challenges, and some of the projects were carried out, dredging contracts were completed by some of the stakeholders, but rest of the projects, say dredging from Farakka to Patna, that was also started in 2017, and it was successfully completed by one of the leading dredging contractors of the country. But the adjoining packages, including one dolphin sanctuary near Bhagalpur in the length of around 50 kilometers, and some of the highly silting points in Bihar area where some of the major rivers from Nepal is joining Ganga, and some of the points in West Bengal where certain structures are affecting the continuity of the navigational channel and its reliability. So those challenges were there. Gradually, the remedy of those challenges or some solutions of those challenges were found. And now, with the overall situation, we have been able to say that our all the 11 contracts are in place. All the contractors are working successfully. There are challenges, but simultaneously that has been dealt by them in consultation with IWI, and we have a dredging expert of the country, that is Dredging Corporation of India. So they are also supporting us in providing their experiences as far as riverine dredging is concerned. So with this, we have been able to successfully able to contract out these contracts, and some of the contracts are assured depth dredging. It is a kind of a BOT model dredging contracts, and some of the contracts are, say, upstream of Patna majorly. The contracts are on quantity based dredging, where these are measurement contracts, and so these contracts are maintaining the navigational channel. So some of the stakeholders, those who are, we have recently, based on these contracts and the confidence we acquire from the successful execution of the dredging contracts in Ganga, many international agencies, those who are basically in transporting the cargo. Renus is a major cargo operator in Germany. They have approached us, and in time to come, they are basically bringing around 100 vessels, which are low draft vessels, and those vessels are expected to move in Ganga and Brahmaputra in time to come. Now coming to NW2, these are India areas. I will come again to Indo-Bangladesh protocol route. In Brahmaputra, we have entrusted Dredging Corporation of India for the dredging work of from Dhubri to Pandu, that is Guwahati, and they have been successfully doing this work on assured depth basis. The upper portion, upstream portion, it is being maintained by the departmental dredgers in Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra, some of the tributaries of the Brahmaputra are also being maintained. So we have connected Numaligarh refinery with waterways. We have connected power plants of West Bengal through Roopnarayan. We have connected Gandak River through to Ganga, and Gandak River we are connecting Nepal also. So there have been a lot of activity and interventions on tributaries also, so that the feeder route of major national waterways, Ganga and Brahmaputra, that can also be developed. Now, as far as interventions in Indo-Bangladesh protocol route, those are basically being controlled by MEA, and these dredging contracts are on sharing basis, 80-20, 80 India, 20 Bangladesh, and around 700 crore dredging contracts on two routes. One is from Ashuganj, Zakiganj on NW16, it is connecting Barak, and Daikova, Aricha. This is another route which is connecting Bangladesh to Brahmaputra River in Assam. And these routes are basically connected with Haldia. Haldia, if we just visualize that Haldia from Calcutta, it goes down and then enters into the Bangladesh, and up to the middle point, not up to the middle point, but nearer to the 1/3 point, it is a tidal zone. Tidal benefit is there. And from upstream, that is Padma River. Padma is a Ganga of Brahmaputra, Ganga of Bangladesh. And then upstream it goes towards northern side, and then it reaches to Dhaikova. It is a near Dhubri point. And then again, one point is converting towards NW16 Barak River towards the eastern side. That is in lower Assam. Both the rivers are in Assam. So those connections are basically for the proper connectivity of northeastern region from Haldia. And this is controlled by the Indo-Bangladesh Protocol Route agreement with Bangladesh. Regular secretary level talks are being done for the challenges and other issues related to that. That is also moving very successfully, except these few months where we are finding some difficulty. So these are the overall major interventions and developments as far as riverine dredging is concerned. Yes, of course, I again refer to the statement made by Ashwath Saab. I fully agree with that, that it is critical and more critical in riverine. Because you see that in alluvial rivers, every year the river is new. In India, a lot of silt is coming from the upstream and getting settled. Lot of silt is coming from the tributaries. In Bihar and Jharkhand, when the rivers from Nepal is joining Ganga, that is bringing lot of silt. And the mouth where they are joining, a continuous siltation is there. Some of my contractors are also here, those who are facing those challenges. They may also share their experiences. So every year, the navigational channel is virtually missing. We take this kind of calibration that that around 40 to 50%, in case I will come to that point also, capital dredging and maintenance dredging. But we normally take, depending upon the siltation pattern, that how the navigational channel is getting filled up on yearly basis. So we take normally 40 to 50%, but at some places it is 75% and some places 30 to 40%. So this is the one major challenge which we are facing. Secondly, we are only doing the maintenance dredging. No capital dredging is being done in riverine dredging. And in maintenance dredging, we don't need any environmental clearance. It may be required in sea dredging, but in riverine dredging, we don't need. However, there are certain challenges of availability of water, because our priority is number 6 as far as navigation through river is concerned. First priority is drinking, second priority is irrigation, and so on. So water is gradually depleting in the years, in the rivers, and availability of water is basically directly proportional to the depth in navigational channel. So that is also a challenge. Third challenge is basically some of the environmental, like dolphin sanctuary, it is creating a lot of problem for crossing near Bhagalpur area. Other challenges, as Divakar Saab was saying, that number of bridges, those who were old, if we extend our area as far as national waterway is concerned, like we are developing NW5, the Brahmani Kharsua river system for evacuation of coal from Talcher area. So the ultimate objective, which has been basically directed by the Prime Minister's office, is that the evacuation of coal from Talcher area is not basically being done sufficiently as per its production by rail as well as by road because of its congestion and other limitations. So a waterway evacuation is also to be planned. So we are basically have developed the blueprint. We have discussed with the government of Odisha. The SPV has also been formed. And this is a very big project amounting to more than 20,000 crores. Okay. So these are, as far as my take is concerned, I think in the next round, in case it is available, then I will share the other thoughts as far as riverine dredging is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much for detailed explanations, sir, like IWA, how is able to maintain the riverways, and then how the transport is taking place. Started from Bangladesh, and from the Bangladesh border to Dubri to Jogogopa, and then Pandu. The way you explained, in spite of having a limited players and limited equipment, and how you are able to manage, and you have really explained. And probably would be having one more round of discussions. So now each panelist has got about max 3 to 5 minutes. If you could just constrain yourself, to the limited time, so we'll be able to complete within our given timeline, so that the second session also can start on time. So my third question goes to Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji. He's a business development, and contracts engineer from Adani Group, and he has been having about almost 35 years experience, both infrastructure, port sector, and SEZ and dredging. So and here I would like to ask him. Nowadays the technology is advancing much faster than what we are expecting. If you don't update yourself along with the technology, you get outdated. So that way the technology is upgraded, and things are also moving much faster. And of late, just about a couple of days back, we have seen that how AI is being used precisely to pinpoint where the target is. At the same time, machine learning. So there are so many tools are available in the market. But how can you use this kind of a tools for improving the optimizing the dredging efficiency? How to use it on board the vessels. Here I just would like to ask you one question, like how are the automation and artificial intelligence can be used to improve the dredging productivity and monitoring and optimizing dredging efficiency by leveraging this kind of a tools? Mr. Sanjeev, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I think this is a very, I think in the present era, this is a very good question. Rather, it is a promising because we are moving towards the digitization, and we talked about it a lot of, and we have seen in past also that how the things, and I think one of the things what was mentioned about the Vininjam port, I think we all know that there is a fully automated port. So we are on that track. Okay, coming back to the dredging part, we all know that modern dredgers are highly automated. That is very clear because automation is the really part. And being dredging, of course, it's something where you can say it's a labor-intensive job because you have to work by hand. But having this system on board of the dredger definitely gives you a lot of benefits like safety, environment, and other things. So I should say automation is being practiced so far very well. Now coming back to this new AI intervention and then the machine learning, that the new words and new trends which is coming up, definitely this will help the process, the time what we lose and the real time, rather I can say, because what Mr. Ashwath was mentioning about, for any project you do the planning in advance so that it can be successful. But during execution also, if you start getting the real time data and real time inputs, which you can really act at that point of time, that will definitely help you in crunching the timeline and giving you the best result. And so, in my view, bringing AI into the system of course, it will take some time, but that will definitely help us in multifaceted cost efficiency. It will definitely reduce the cost. Human intervention would be also limited, which will definitely avoid any human error if it would be, because we are dealing with quite a labor-intensive work. So, but there are a couple of challenges also. I don't know, so that we need to discuss further.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Sanjeevji. Like as you rightly mentioned, that especially you want to monitor the dredging, you need to have this kind of a AI wherein you will be able to monitor the efficiency levels and the depth and how much the quantity, the volume you're taking, and the draft is maintained. You have a different types of ships and all. Definitely, this will help us a lot, and that will be able to monitor these things well in advance. The preventive maintenances could be taken, and also it could be monitored from your office itself. That's what one of the wonderful thing that insights which are given to us. And now I'll move on to Mr. Mahesh. He's the country manager for NMDC Dredging, and this NMDC off late, they have done they have a groundbreaking achievement. Like mostly what happens is that we have heard about reclamation, especially in the Gulf regions, wherein you wanted to extend the shoreline, you wanted to extend the seafront so that the people can build their villas, can have a, what I can say that, commercial spaces, can have a sea view and the coolness. That's what the, era. But now what's happening is that the people in the front line able to have that benefit, but when it comes to the, behind, they're not able to have it. Now they have come up with a different strategy. They started building mountains, so that what happens is that when the building is mountain in the sea, and you have all around the view, so villas all around will be able to see the sea, they can enjoy the thing. So now from the extending to the sea, they are horizontally increasing and also vertically going up. When you talk about the vertical, generally we talk about 5 meters max to max 6 meters. Now they have gone to 56 meters, and building a mountain in a sea going up to 56 meters is not a joke. When I talk about the horizontal transport of the material for about 5 to 8 kilometers, 9 kilometers, you need to have a boosters. Forget about the boosters. They are not only bringing for about 5 to 6 kilometers to even 10 kilometers, and apart from that, they are taking to the that kind of a sedimentation, having such a weight to the height of 56 kilometers, 56 meters. It's very surprising. So now, Mahesh, could you just throw some light? And I don't expect you to give me the technical details, but how you are able to manage this, and how you are able to achieve this groundbreaking achievement.
Thank you, Captain Divakarji and Vicky, to invite us and introduce about the project which we are doing. It is one of its kind in the world, as we all are aware that we have seen in Gulf region or in European parts, they have their own land to be created inside the sea, which is protected with the stone. So going further, there was a client in Abu Dhabi who is a private developer, one of the biggest private developer. He has came up with a concept that why not we build hills inside the sea, which is 7 to 10 kilometers from the shoreline, and which will be connected through a undersea tunnel, and that hill will be above at least 55 to 60 meters above seawater level. So that task has been given to NMDC to perform, and it is one of the largest project in dredging and reclamation, wherein more than 350 million cubic meters of material to be dredged. The material will be brought from an offshore borrow pit 50 to 60 kilometers from the shoreline, and it has been pumped with the mega jumbo hoppers and jumbo cutter suction dredgers. The dumping distance was ranges between 6 to 10 kilometers. The stage construction, because as an engineering background, people will be aware about, we can horizontally pump with the dredger, but pumping the material horizontally and vertically at same time will be a challenge on the pipe. So to conclude that, the NMDC has did a lot of engineering background works for performing this work, and they have evolved a stage construction. So wherein, like in highways or in on land, we go by the fill material at certain ranges, certain thickness, and then we compact it, and then we again overburden with the another material. The same technique similar to the same technique we have utilized. So the stages was not exactly what on land. On land we usually go by 200 or 300 but here we have gone with the 5 meter of staging. So wherein the pumping distance and the synchronization of the technical thing of the horizontal push plus vertical push. So the combination of this has been evolved, and the identical to get the more efficiency, the identical unit came is as a 5 meter. So the 5 meter stages we have done. So the hill has been created as a periphery. There will be a contour. So on each contour, on the periphery of the contour, there will be a villas which will have an unrestricted view of the city as well as on the seashore, and they will have their own infrastructure. So all these villa will be constructed on the periphery, and this will be sold out. So it is one of its kind, first of its kind, and there are many more such hills are coming. So presently, NMDC has built 5 villas. The one location is called as a Hudariyat, and another location is nearby Abu Dhabi coastline. So NMDC is proud to build first of its kind hill in the world, and now many more such hills have been planned in this region. So we look forward for completion of this type of projects.
Thank you, Mahesh. Of course, as you rightly mentioned, it's a bit difficult task, but however, MNMDC started this and they are able to continue, and we wish you all the best in this sector. Now, my final question goes to Mr. Sri Kaushik Nandiji. So he's a vice president, ITD cementation, and he's having experience about some 30 to 35 years, both infrastructure, dredging, port sector, and post construction and marine construction. And with this kind of experience, he'll be able to throw some light on the PPP projects. Some people say that the PPP projects are a failure. Some people say the PPP projects are very good. This is all because of procedures, and there are so many things are involved into this. And at this juncture, given the high capital intensity and long gestation periods of a major dredging projects, how can the PPP model be made more viable to attract private investment while ensuring efficient project delivery and risk mitigation? Kaushik ji, please.
Thank you, Captain Divakar. Thank you all for this opportunity. Your question has got basically two parts. One is the dredging part, and one is the PPP model per se. In India, PPP model has started in the 90s in the road sector. Port sector, the first PPP project, I believe, was in JNPT, that P&O project. And after that, there has been many, and the process has evolved, the mechanism is evolved, the contracts are evolved, all those things are fine. But the challenge is here is the dredging. So, okay, all the panelists were throwing light on the various use of dredging. Now, in case of like a revival project or any maintaining the channels, I don't think PPP is a viable option, because there is a shared responsibility of maintaining a channel. Typically, the landlord, the port themselves make. Now, wherever there is any use of dredging to develop landmass for various types of use, presently we are discussing about Vadhavan port. There may be airports like Hong Kong airport is built. China is building a huge airport, Dalian or something. So those kind of areas, definitely PPP should succeed. And the challenges could be typically dredging, what I understand being from a construction company, like you cannot insure a dredging contract. You don't get an insurance. Why? Because it's a very dynamic scenario. Whatever you dredge, next day there could be a cyclone and the whole seabed may change. So who guarantees? It's a very dynamic thing. So there may be some policy adjustment, giving some confidence to the dredging companies. Like Sir said, riverine, all the siltation happening, and how the private developer ensures that he gets the right levels and right riverbed or seabed, etc. So those challenges has to be addressed definitely. So some policy decisions and some support from the government. And what is the land use? Ultimately, the PPP developer, how they earn their revenue. So either see, all over the world, if you see the most of the land being developed by reclamation, I mean dredged and reclaimed, is being used for real estate. Like Maheshji just now said, it is for villas and okay, airports and ports are reasonably new, though it's not first. Singapore is building to us phase 4 or something. So uses are there, examples are there, but most of the cases you will see the landlord is backed by government, not the private. So need a lot of introspection, engagement with all the private entities who will be interested in such projects. I think there is a huge interest in Bhadawan. There are 16 or 17 companies participating in the expression of interest. So there is a traction. So I'm sure we'll have right policy, right contracts, right mechanism, right funding, because ultimately it has to be funded by banks and all. So, and we'll definitely have a very good model in years to come. And this model is just starting with Bhadawan. It's probably going to the first large project with a dredge reclamation project, which is not very common in India. We have been doing small dredging in every port, dredging and reclamation. So it remains to be seen, but with the government's focus, central and state government, both very active in Bhadawan, I think this could be a very good model for our future developments.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nandiji, for your insights about the PPP projects and then project delivery on timelines and as well as risk management. And since I have another some more time, in about another half an hour time, I'd like to have one more round of, please.
Thank you, Divakar Sahab. Just complementing and supplementing the idea given by Nandi Sahab. Basically, as far as PPP model in sea dredging or reclamation or recycling of the material reclaimed during the sea while dredging the sea, that is, I think, easier. We are designing the PPP model on riverine dredging also. And I would like to share over here, though it is not completely crystallized as yet, but I am just throwing the food for thought that some of the experts, those who are basically, right now, we are not charging anything as far as movement in the river is concerned. So we have also initiated a scheme of 35% incentive on riverine expenditure incurred on riverine movement or IWT movement. So that scheme is also in place. We have also finalized the private jetty scheme also, which can also be utilized by the private developers. And we are saying that they can take user charges for the usage of the navigational channel developed by them. And in consultation with the states, they can monetize the dredged material also. So Ashwath Saab has also guided us from the ministry that how the monetization of the dredged material can be done. So combining these two aspects, we are designing the model, and we will share later on once if time permits. And this is we are trying our level best that how we can utilize the public-private partnership in this model also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, again, giving us some kind of insight about the PPP project in inland waterways. Now, coming back to Aswad Saab, as per the recent, just about 3 years back, we have come out with dredging guidelines and beneficial use of dredge material. This is one of the pet project for Aswad Saab. During his time, he has come out with the beneficial, from waste to wealth. Earlier we used to dump this material into the sea. Now the same material is being used as a beneficial material for reclamation purpose. And recently we had done one project in Paradeep where about 1.52 million used to be thrown into the sea. We started reclaiming, and then ultimately this could be used for NRL to develop a petrochemical hub over there. So this is the way during Aswad Saab time he has come out with this good idea, and accordingly the guidelines have been used. Prepared, and the beneficial use of dredge material from waste to wealth. And here, I would like to again interministerial, but however, I just want to bring this point. Whenever we are trying to use this beneficial material from sea to the land, when we are trying to bring to the sea to land, we have certain constraints. One is the environment clearances, And second thing is coming to the CRZ clearances. And if the pipeline is passing through the forest area, again, we need to go for these things. So is it possible to have one kind of a window system, single window approach, so that these projects can be taken off, could be more useful rather than again pumping into the sea, Hazrat Saab?
Thank you, Divakar. I should give credit to our former minister, Mansukh Mandavia Saab. He has been on the forefront of this telling that the material what we get from dredging, whether it can be used or not, because already some of the European ports they are utilizing, they have set up a huge laboratory and all. For example, when I was in Belgium, I was fortunate to visit one of their laboratories where they take out the material from their ports like Antwerp or Zeebrugge, and they will take it to the laboratory, and there they have made all the arrangement. They have developed something like 10 hectares of land, and they have developed this facility to test it and see what use can be made use of, what use of this dredge material. So your question was related to how we can combine this environmental aspects and other things. See, sustainability is the key word. I must say any dredging projects will have some effect on the marine life. So we have to see to it that we don't disturb the nature, otherwise we will be disturbed. That is the ultimate goal. So having said that, this environment impact assessment, this is one of the important aspects of dredging projects. See, usually we take the project, this environmental impact assessment out after the project is sanctioned, after a certain stage has reached. I think this is not the way to do it. See, you should have a vision plan. For example, if you have a vision for 2030, where you should reach, you have already, like I explained earlier, we have only fourth generation vessels way back 20 years back. Now we have 18,000 TU. That whether we call it the 18th generation vessel or not. So that is coming up. So you should have in picture what will be the position after 10 years. So if you have that kind of a the what you call the design aspects, so you can undertake this environment impact study well in advance, and accordingly you can put in place a environment clearance, because environment clearance is given for a project for a period of 5 years, which can be further extended by another 5 years if you give all the details and all. So all this, if you are planning in advance, then whether you are going for a big project like Vadavan or Galatia, then you already, I would like to inform you that for Vadavan, we have already obtained the environment clearance well in advance, seeing all these problems. So once you obtain all these in place, this dredge material utilization is an important aspect. Suppose you are having around, let us say in our JNPA, we have annual dredging quantity of around 10 million cubic meter. See, in 10 million cubic meter, we know that the dredge material may consist of gravel, silt, sand and clay. So we already know that sand is very useful, but if you have some 80% silt and clay, how to separate it out? How to reuse it? All this we have taken into consideration, and we have already completed one research project undertaken by Professor D.N. Singh, IIT Bombay. So he is able to come out with how you can reuse this material by adding some admixtures, because the compressive strength of this clay and silt is very low, because it is having the permeability is very low, it cannot be reused. So but if you can add some admixture from the industry, and if you test it through that consolidation and compaction strength of that material, then you can reuse it. And how to separate it out, how to extract, all this have been detailed in detail, and the engineering users also have come out in the dredging guidelines like land creation, land improvement, Burman breakwater creation, shore protection works and all. So all these aspects, if you take into account, my only this thing is at least you can use 20% of that material. So 20% means 2 million cubic meter. Just calculate 1 cubic meter in today's this thing, it costs around 2,000 rupees, 2 to 3,000 rupees. So 2 million means something like 20 lakh into 2, 3,000. So how much material you can save? So this kind of planning, if you can do, you can reuse the material. And also going into the other details, not only environment enhancement, you have to look for the sustainability. Means for another 20, 30 years, there should not be any problem for the around surrounding area. See, all these things, if you plan and you can reuse the dredge material and you have an environment clearance in place and plan for transportation. Like I told, they had in the Belgium, that site has transportation facility for bringing the material right from Antwerp port to that laboratory, which is around 70 kilometers. So that kind of planning, if you do, it is possible that from waste to wealth concept can be implemented, and we can have at least around 20 to 30 million, because our estimate is around 100 to 150 million cubic meter of maintenance dredging is being done. And non-major ports like Damra or Gangavaram or Krishnapatnam will be having another 100 million cubic meter easily added. So if we can use at least 20 million cubic meter, or even for that matter 10 million cubic meter from the non-major ports, 10 million cubic meter from the major ports, we will be having plenty of sand and also other construction material. It may not be used for the engineering purpose. It can be used for filling and other things. And two major ports, I should congratulate them. One is the Cochin port. They had some problem like environmental issues. They went to the court. They fought with this thing, and all this thing was cleared. And today they are able to bring the dredge material and see to it that it is separated and the sand is sold to the through action, and they are able to earn at least around 20 to 30 crores annually. And Paradeep, another example, what you have given, Nimaligarh refinery, they needed some sand and other material for filling, and Dredging Corporation of India had taken proactive steps, and they could transport that dredge material to that Nimaligarh refinery, and the filling and reclamation purpose has been served. And other ports like Jawaharlal Nehru Port or the Mumbai Port, they are also using it for beach nourishment. Visakhapatnam Port has been using the dredge material for beach nourishment instead of throwing into the sea, because it will disturb the marine life. If the ports and the dredging companies plan together and reuse the dredge material with sustainability and with the environment impact assessment study in place, we would be achieving this waste and wealth concept very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We are running short of time now, and before we go for the open form, and I have one last question for Mr. Astosh Gautamji. Nowadays that economic of scale is playing a very major role. Most of the ports are going from 12 meters to 14 meters, 17 meters, 18 meters. Now we are going to 21 meters. The depth is increasing, and because of this economic of scale, bigger vessels are coming now. So are you planning something? Like I have seen that inland waterways, we are always LAD, maintained about 2.5. Is it possible to increase further? And do you have that kind of a cargo in especially northeastern region? How you are going to unlock the economic potential of northeastern region, especially in the inland waterways? Could you throw some light on that for about 2 to 3 minutes so that I'll move on to the next open form, please?
Thank you. It is a very relevant question which is being discussed regularly as far as the development of northeastern states are concerned. As you have asked, that we are maintaining around 2.5 meters from Bangladesh border to Pandu, that is Guwahati, and beyond Pandu we are maintaining around 2.2, or then thereafter 2 only. Basically, dredging is a very costly affair, and it is unpredictable also in rivers like Ganga and Brahmaputra. As I completely agree that definitely PPP model is definitely to be evolved as far as, and also to add that in sea, the dredged material may not be very useful, but the riverine dredged material may be much more useful as far as even construction purposes also. Now, for the better cargo movement in northeastern states, we have mapped the cargo potential of those areas, and we found that construction material from Bhutan passing through India and going to Bangladesh, because Bangladesh doesn't have the construction material resources. So they are dependent on India or Bhutan or Myanmar as far as aggregates are concerned. I am basically from the road sector. So I was posted to Calcutta also for 3 years and designed the altogether connectivity to northeastern states from Calcutta passing through the Bangladesh. But it was not possible because of the other constraints of rivers and the bearing capacity of the soil. So that is one major potential place. We have developed Jogi Ghopa terminal exclusively for providing the material to be transported to Bangladesh coming from Bhutan, Fulshilling border as well as other borders also. As far as Guwahati area is concerned, Guwahati is catching some of the cargo related to perishable cargo, that is tea and other issues. Some of the supply lines as far as cement and steel to Guwahati is concerned, that has also been lined up from Haldia. The supply to northeastern states, that is viable. And one thing I would like also to share, that the cost we have calculated by practical use of several voyages from Haldia to Guwahati, it is 30% cheaper as far as IWT is concerned in case we have transported steel. So in case the overall mechanism or the ecosystem gets stabilized, then it may further come down. So, and in addition to that, for IWT expenditure to be incurred in IWT movement, 35% subsidy is also available from the government of India. So now we have to think big as far as riverine movement is concerned. So many players, big players are also entering into the arena. So, and there is a lot of potential in northeastern region. All the supply lines from the northeastern region is through by rail or road and through the chicken neck. So that is definitely to be seen in time to come, that how we can develop an alternate route. And though it is definitely through Bangladesh, but we have the protocol route agreement with them. So definitely we should, and with lot of potential, it is economical too. Without incentive and with incentive, it is much more economical. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now it's open to the audience, and you can ask questions. And please just restrict yourself to 2 to 3 minutes. We have another just about max 15 minutes, and 3 to 4 questions. And please tell your name and your rank and from the company.
Hello, I am S.K. Suvi from Indian Railways. Question from Mr. H.N. Aswath. A lot of effort and investment is going into development of ports. The proof of the pudding is in eating it. So probably one of the indices of efficiency would be the turnaround time of ships at ports. What is the turnaround time of ships at the best Indian port, and how does it compare with the best other ports abroad?
Mr. S.K. Puri, thank you for asking the question. At present, the best port where the turnaround time is very minimum is our Jawaharlal Nehru port in Mumbai. So it is having a turnaround time of around 21 hours. Sometimes it has achieved 19 hours also. And if you compare with some of the best ports, whether it is Singapore port or Rotterdam port. We have analyzed, and they have the turnaround time of around 24 hours to 26 hours. So in JNPA, we are able to bring it at around 22 hours. And of course, some one or two ports, they are having around 19 hours or 18 hours. So we have, for the statistics, I would like to inform you that 10 years back, the same port, the JNPA was having around 34 hours turnaround time. So we were able to reduce it by 10 hours now. And thanks to this, lot of efforts from the port and a lot of policy initiatives from the ministry and the guidance from our honorable minister, who has always been promoting this new technology, whether it is digitization or automation. So all our ports have been encouraged, and because of that, the whatever stackyard we are having, because we will be having limited stackyard because they are located inside the city, and also in the island where their Jawaharlal Nehru port is located, they have limited space. In spite of that, they were able to achieve this a figure of 22 hours, and within a span of this 10 years, and they could do it. Thank you very much.
Excellent. It means JNPT is more efficient than Singapore and Rotterdam.
No, I told you in one aspect. You cannot categorize. This is one turnaround time in this aspect. The turnaround time has come down, and even our position, what this international standard they had categorized as around 41st position was there. Now we could come down to around 36th position. So what I'm telling is some 10 years back. So we have improved, and in turnaround time, especially because it depends on the crane movement. So now we are able to achieve around 28 to 30 moves per hour. So that is kind of a change has brought in this turnaround time, which is better than some of the best ports in the world.
Yeah, anybody from the center?
Yeah, right here.
Please.
Sensei Raj, founder of Vision India 2032, ex marine salvage and deep sea diver as well.
You're posing the question to whom?
Open to the panel.
Yeah, okay, great.
So my question is in two parts. One, it was mentioned about the future of, we are talking about the future of the maritime infrastructure and resilience. Now, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar also mentioned about the AI. It's not specific to any one person, anybody can take it on. I also happen to be the national convener for AI and national security and also technology as well. The AI integrated port development maintenance plus the bathymetric data analysis on a continuous basis in real time, which is not being used at the moment, but we could work on in that. That's number one, sub A. The sub two would that be, why aren't we focusing on developing R&D innovation in the equipment capacity in India? Like I'll give it a very specific example as in the Vanwood's automotive, automated equipment. I'm sure Mr. Ashwath would have seen when he went to Belgium. That's in Netherlands, by the way, Vanwood's. Number two would be, you spoke about the high cost and the financial, Mr. Nandi, I believe you mentioned about the cost aspect of it. Why aren't we focusing on the innovative finance and not piggybacking on the negative interest rate economy, which is in the global finance? Specifically, using the maritime bonds or the dredging bonds itself for the large projects, de-risking them with the large projects. I'll rest my case. Thank you.
Yeah, Sanjay Kumar can answer to your question. And then followed by Mr. Nandi. Yeah.
Correct me if
integration of AI.
Yeah. See, in the ports, yeah. So, fortunately, I think we are talking about dredging, but anyway, you talk about ports. Okay, I'm looking after dredging, so I will not go and touch those parts for sure. But yes, see, intervention of AI definitely reduce a lot of things, especially I should say it's environmentally also, because a lot of human interfaces can be omitted. Something, and what my understanding about AI is that they work on a historical data and then they go further, like machine learning and other things comes forward. So, what we learned very long back, the concept of GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. I think we all know that. So data acquisition till the delivery, how best you are linking all those dots, that gives you the results. So just going with AI would not resolve the things, but taking AI in a correct way and getting the results, there again requires a lot of skills. So port-wise, yes, we have implemented a couple of places, and Vinayam is one of the examples. And since I had to talk about the dredging itself, dredging equipment, dredgers. There also we have multiple challenges. One of the things what Mr. Aswad also talked about data, so holding the data, passing on the data, because it may get exposed also. So those are the things, the data security, that is also one of the challenges when you go through that side. Initial cost, investment is also huge. The skilled manpower also required because you are dealing with a new technology. So these are the things which are the constants. But definitely moving forward, we are going in a new era. The things are changing, and I think it's under evaluation, but definitely it will come. So that is my point.
Yeah, Mr. Nandi.
See, you asked about the funding and chief funding, etc. I believe specifically, if we talk about the other one, there is a lot of interest from foreign investors to invest in that. But there, the model is HAM model, hybrid annuity model. So the government pays back in tranches every year for next 15, 20 years. Typically in the PPP models, it's the revenue sharing. The earning by the private developer who is investing money is that. In case of dredging, what is giving it the return? It's after the land or the reclamation is done, what is coming on that? So in our case, okay, if we take a port, it will be another few years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, additional time till the revenue actually starts coming back. So all those things probably will play a role to get right funding mechanism, lower interest rates, and these processes just starting. We have not yet started. We are just about to start. Like any other business model, it has to evolve. Just like the PPP in port, it has taken maybe 10, 15 years to mature. Now, wherever there is a concession, you'll see a lot of companies participating. Same thing will happen here also. Slowly it will evolve. Cost of investment will come down, and of course other infrastructure also will be in place. So things will improve slowly. But initially, I think there could be challenges.
I'm allowed to come back and make a remark on both. Actually, there's no dearth of data actually historically. In terms of port development maintenance as well, there's plenty of data. In fact, I have a 200 maritime experts strong team that we were considered and also not considered, but actually invited to the Indonesia, the past president, to develop the 16 ports in Indonesia. That's how large the market is, just across the neighbor, and it brings the past G20 presidency as well. It is not about the dearth of the data, but as I said, but it's also about how we could work collaboratively. You just mentioned, can we have the data security in place? In fact, I am curating one of the highest security within the armed forces itself, within the AI domain. So we could possibly share notes with the civilian sector, that is, in how to curate this and also possibly take this on in the next, how long ever it takes. That's with the port. When we come to the dredging itself, my team actually were not bidding, but in talks to get the Bangladesh dredging. We all understand it's about $5 to $8 billion contract on a yearly basis, which they were looking to the World Bank to get the loans. So this is where, again, we could put our national security card and say, and promote our Indian interest in how we could take on these projects, although we do not have the capability, the equipment wise, but then we could also these the same equipment what is coming out from Belgium or Denmark or Netherlands, which are three play a crucial part in this, take the projects as well. But again, the integration of AI in dredging, especially with the bathymetric data, I don't think it's being used, and we could possibly be the leaders in that, even in the world as well. That's just a remark, and maybe we could get this talk going on to the next elevated status if people are interested. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Since we have a running short of time, and the final question to the left side, then thereafterwards we'll be moving. I'm closing the session, please. This is the last question. Just resist to max 1 to 2 minutes, not more than this, please.
Good afternoon, sir. My questions to Ashwath sir. So it's not question, rather request. So we all acknowledge the importance of security protocols which we need to oblige in the country when we are dealing with bringing in foreign dredgers and all that. Now there is no clarity in the applicability of the security. So we have one circular from the Ministry of Shipping issued on 31st January 2018. The subject itself starts with PPP dredging, like PPP projects security. There now, when we certain ports, they say it's applicable only for capital dredging. Certain ports, they say it's applicable even for maintenance dredging. So there is no clarity if you read that circular. So my request is, why can't we review that circular and then issue a crystal clear guidelines to follow by the contractors? So that's one. And the second question, like we know, so there is an acute shortage of capacity in India. So as far as trailers and dredgers are concerned, and many players, like foreign players, they want to bring in their dredgers and flag it in India. But then there is no incentive other than this right of first refusal. There is no motivation or incentive from the government side to flag it in India. So can ministry look into that aspect and provide certain incentives so that we can bring in more dredgers flagged in India to meet the requirements? So these are only my requests to the.
Did you introduce yourself? What is your name?
I'm Prasad, ISDPL,
yeah, I know,
from Group. Yeah.
Just for the sake of.
Thank you, sir.
Prasad ji, I would like to inform you that as per that requirement, you have to take the clearance for only capital dredging. Maintenance dredging doesn't need, because what you are doing in maintenance dredging is removing the silt which has been accumulated there. So you don't require for the maintenance dredging as such. So capital dredging projects, when you are disturbing the original soil, because when you are excavating, the marine life is disturbed. So they have to go into the details and see what exactly you are doing and what equipment you are bringing. All those things have to be taken up. So security clearance for the capital dredging is necessary. So that is one aspect is there. And if there is any, as you told, 2018, after that, and if nothing is there, some clarity is required, definitely the ministry will take it up, and we will be able to do it. The second is this flagging of your dredgers in India. This many ships are already doing it. Okay, they are bringing the ships here, flagging with Indian flagging, and the incentives, I don't know what exactly you did, because once you are Indian flag vessels, there are a lot of schemes are there already in place for the ships and all. For the dredgers, suppose they are bringing and this thing, first and foremost is they will be getting business. As I told, we are expecting something like 100 to 200 million cubic meter of capital dredging in another 2-3 years. And for the long term, I am telling, in the 20 years, we have at least around 1 billion cubic meter may come for dredging, including capital and maintenance dredging. So that kind of scenario is there. And the business model, if you can prepare a business model and then study and what exactly you need the incentives, whether in terms of monetization or in terms of some facility, and you can frame a representation and send it across to the ministry, then definitely we will take it up. But you have to work it out, what exactly you need. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We apologize for this short of time. We are not able to take much of your questions. And however, it's not that simply having a question answer session. It's not that practically what we are facing in the industry, what the clients, what the owners, contractors. That's where we have prepared this session. And especially, I thank our panelists taking their time off from their busy schedule, and Aswad Saab, especially Gautam Saab and Nandi Saab, and our Sanjay Kumar Saab, and also Mahesh. So in spite of that, and they have given a lot of insights, and it's been going to be very useful. And in case if you have some doubts, and our panelists are going to be available till evening, because we are going to complete the next session. So, and some people have already booked their tickets. We need to go. So that's the reason I'm just hurrying up. And thank you very much for your patience listening. And it's a wonderful session. Thanks for your cooperation. Thank you very much. I'm signing off. And I request Fiki to take over and start the next session. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you, speakers. We certainly have a lot of curiosity for the subject. So I would like to request the panel to rise for the group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll request you to all be seated. We'll shortly start the next session immediately after this. Please allow us some minutes for a quick session changeover.
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you all to please be seated. We are beginning our next panel discussion. Hello. May I request you all to please be seated. We are starting our next panel discussion. And I would like to invite our esteemed dignitaries on the dais to please join us. Our session chair, Mr. Durgesh Kumar Dubey ji, Deputy Chairman, Visakhapatnam Port Authority, and Managing Director CEO, Dredging Corporation. Mr. Vandermeet Bram, Managing Director, International Seaport Dredging. Dr. Ameya Pratap Singh, Managing Director, Dharti Dredging and Infrastructure. Mr. Gaurav Kumar, BU Head, India and Middle East, SNF, India.
Hello.
Dr. Arnab Das, Founder and Director, Maritime Research Center. Mr. Manoj KV, Accounts Manager, India, Royal IFC. I request everyone to please take the conversation ahead during the lunch. We are starting our next panel discussion. May I request everyone to please be seated. We are starting the next panel discussion. I'm sure the conversations are very interesting. That's why we're not able to start yet. I'd like to invite on stage Mr. Durgesh Kumar Dubey, Deputy Chairman, Visakhapatnam Port Authority, our session chair for the day. Mr. Vandermeet Bram, Managing Director, International Seaport Dredging. Dr. Ameya Pratap Singh, Managing Director, Dharti Dredging and Infrastructure. Mr. Gaurav Kumar, Head, Middle East and India, SNF. We have Dr. Arnab Das, Founder and Director, Maritime Research Center. Mr. Manoj KV, Accounts Manager, India Royal IFC. May I now invite the moderator for this session, Mr. Ankush Saxena, Associate Partner, Mobility and Logistics from KPMG.
Hello.
Over to you, Mr. Ankush. We look forward to an inspiring and solutions-driven conversation on making India dredging industry greener, cleaner, and future-ready. Hope you manage the time well, and we have an interesting conversation ahead. Over to you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Can I have your attention, please? We are starting the session now. So good morning to everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you all for this insightful and important session. And thank you all for joining us. Dredging is a very vital enabler, specifically in today's parlance, when we look at maritime trade, when we look at urban growth in terms of land reclamation, even if we look at tourism from river cruise tourism or coastal tourism perspective. And even from the energy demand perspective, when we look at the offshore demand of energy. But to really align all of this together, we need, there's an environment goal and a long-term sustainability. And to really achieve that, we need to move towards a bigger sustainability initiative. And I think today's session is particularly important because there are 5 important pillars. So first one being the alternative fuel. Second is fleet transitioning. Third is bunkering infrastructure. Fourth is dredging material. And fifth is soil investigation. So today's panelist, we'll be discussing on 4-5 important pillars. So without much ado, I would now request our first panelist, Shri Durgesh Kumar Dubey, who's the Managing Director for DCIL and who's also a Deputy Chairman for Visakhapatnam Port Authority. So, sir, my first question to you is that given India's maritime growth, how DCIL is approaching towards transitioning to the alternate fuel while maintaining operational efficiency, and also what are the key regulatory challenges that you're facing in terms of the fuel supply, in terms of the policy decision making. So if you can throw some light on this.
This green fuel or alternative fuel in shipping sector particularly, it is in nascent stage, and we are working for some vessels also, that vessels should run by hydrogen or CNG or some other fuel. So the moment it will pick up, and I hope that our ministry and the MIB 2030, they have given target, and we are starting from green tugboat. In last Chintan Shivir, our Honorable Minister, Sarwan Kanwaza, he has asked all major ports to go for at least one green tugboat. And once we are successful, it will definitely come into other aspect. In this green tugboat, we are looking for electrical tugboat, it's hybrid model, as well as hydrogen. So for this purpose, our shipyards, CSL, HSL, private shipyards, they are collaborating with foreign players and from Europe or Korea, Japan, and they are looking for it. And this green tugboat will pave way for, and its success in next 2-3 years will pave way for these ships, and then it will definitely come to the deserts as well. And here, I think ISC is also working on it, and they had made one green tugboat. I think that is a totally electrical tugboat, and I hope that with this scheme which our Honorable Minister has announced, some players or some yards will collaborate, and we will see its result. Thank
you. Thank you, sir. Now, moving on to our next panelist, I would request Mr. Brahm, who's the Managing Director of International Seaport Dredging Limited. He brings with him considerable experience, specifically on the eco-friendly fuel conversion. So, sir, my first question to you is, what are the innovations specifically in eco-friendly fuel conversions that you have explored while transforming dredging fleets, and which fuel type holds the most, promising kind of aspects? So, if you can highlight on this particular question.
Thank you. I think we as a company operate also indigenous fleet. and we are looking at what is the next fuel type to go for a new investment, as an investment in a dredging equipment, major equipment, is lasting 30, 35 years. So your horizon of investment is this. Now, at this moment, there are, let's say, very few options to bunker real green fuels. LNG is possible, but if you look at all the different fuels, then I would think that ammonia and methanol are the ones that will flourish in the future. But if you zoom out, India and the green goals, they want to be a green hub for green fuels. Now, you have so many goals. So should we not first look at the biggest emitters to decarbonize? You want to grow your steel industry by ×2, which will need a lot of green hydrogen. And hydrogen is, let's say, the start element of your whole green fuel story. So green hydrogen you can convert into all the other green fuels. So should we not first look at stationary supply, then transit, as we now rightfully do, into tugboats where it is semi-stationary, and then only look at the bigger fleet. And I think that transition will take a lot of times before you are at the main fleet, let's say, of dredging equipment, which is not always working at the same location. You see main container lines who have hubs working on green fuels, that is true, but they are having fixed hubs. And as long as you don't have fixed hubs of a fixed supply, you will have issues at the moment. And at the moment, in the infancy, I truly believe that growing the hydrogen hubs is a great good step, which you're doing in any case, and you can make green fertilizer with it, to ammonia. You can make methanol. You can do a lot of things. But grow this to maturity, and then you can really seriously look at the ships, dredgers, for example, who move around. I think that is the vision we have. But yes, we are looking at it, and yeah, we are looking at when is the moment to make this investment. And at the moment, it's not there yet. I think that is a bit our take on it.
Thank you. I think very pertinent. Now we'll move on to our next speaker, Dr. Amay Pratap Singh, who's Managing Director, Dharti Dredging and Infrastructure, and he can bring some, private perspective also. So, sir, my question to you is, how can Indian dredging industry ensure cost-effective fleet transformation without compromising on operational capabilities? So, can you highlight some points on this?
Thank you. It's a difficult question, honestly, and we do a lot of work in the rivers, and we're talking about alternate fuels. I mean, even basic bunkering is a struggle. So to talk about other alternative fuels, bunkering infrastructure to come into place is probably going to take some time. But having said that, I think a lot has already been said about alternative fuels, green methanol, ammonia, hydrogen. And I think at some point the government will have to help us organize that transition, because are we going to be focused on transition fuels? And then do we plan for certain fuels in the long run? Because as a contractor, the cost at which I can operate is extremely important to be competitive in the market. So these choices are always going to be weighed against that cost-benefit analysis. But having said that, there are things that can be done to make operations more sustainable while still holding on to efficiency. So for instance, as we are discussing in the rivers, sometimes the sediment is quite loose and we don't require cutter power. But we are stuck with certain models of how cutter suction dredger works or is manufactured. Now, IHC is coming up with a plain suction dredger. I think Daman is coming up with one as well. So there are these types of innovations that will make the existing machines more energy efficient, which could help cut costs. And there's technology, and AI is also going to play some sort of role. So already we have monitoring systems for all our cutter suction dredgers, and that's allowed us to remove wastage from the operations to a significant extent. So the fuel consumption overall has gone down in any case, just by technological intervention. But yeah, there's still a long way to go in terms of being able to bring alternative fuels into play, and it will start with the policy level and then also the manufacturers first before the contractors can make those market choices. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. I think I'll move to the next panelist, Mr. Gaurav Kumar, who's head of India and Middle East for SNF. I think now we can move to when we have talked about fleet, we have talked about dredging material. I think let's talk about something to do with the treatment of the material. So, sir, my question to you is that what are some of the advanced treatments or chemical treatments that are being developed, state of the art, to minimize environmental impact on dredging operations?
Thank you for the question. Chemical-wise, if we see, we should not get scared of the word chemical used in dredging. There are many kinds of chemical, and with the help of new technology and advanced technologies, a lot of innovative products have come in the market. So from traditional chemicals, we have moved to green chemicals, green flocculants, biofuels, biofuel-based product, and plant-based chemicals have also been come. So these products are helping to do dredging efficiently, helping to flocculate the material very efficiently. And this is not only very sustainable, it is biodegradable. At the same time, they also help dredgers and the companies involved in dredging to reduce the carbon footprint significantly. With the help of these materials, the efficiency increases of machines, people, and a lot of benefits are there in the downtime. Yeah.
Good to know about these new aspects. So now I think we'll move to our next panelist, Dr. Arnab Das, who's founder and director from Maritime Research Center. So, sir, my first question is that what role does advanced soil investigation play in ensuring efficient dredging operations and minimizing ecological disturbances?
Thank you. That's, I think, a very important question. I'll go to some very basic facts. When we talk about dredging, to manage anything, first you have to measure. Without measuring, you can't do anything. So how do you measure? The most simplistic thing is sediment classification. And how do you do sediment classification? Acoustics is the only way. Acoustics technology is the only way. You use sonar. Now, there are two important factors that we need to recognize. The first and foremost is that we are in a tropical region. Now, in the tropical region, there are two important things which are critical for this discussion. First is our sediment transport pattern is very, very unique. It's not the same in the Nordic countries or in the temperate and the polar region. The second is the sonar that we use suffers 60% degradation. Now, if you have to measure, you have to use a sonar, and if that is suffering 60% degradation, we are not going anywhere. So that's a very important thing. So now when we seek help from outside, we need to be careful and we need to be very mindful that this is the gap that we are starting with. Now, the first important thing is now how do you build acoustic capacity? I call it to see, to understand, and to share. To see is the sensor and the hardware. A sonar has to, the sensor is required and it has to be mounted on a platform. That could be a ship, it could be a AUV, whatever it is. That's the hardware. But once the data comes in, somebody has to analyze. That's the understand part. That has to be indigenous. I don't think we lack talent in this country. And again, the tropical aspect or the tropical distortion can be mitigated if we have an indigenous effort. And that's what we need to, and that's where the data will remain with us. The whole issue of, as a member from the shipping ministry has said that, there are security concerns. Security concern is of the data. If we allow an outside company to come and take the data away, we are going, obviously, Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Home is going to be sensitive to this. But if we build a mechanism where these issues become irrelevant, we definitely have an important way forward. The third is to share. Now, depending on the user, whether it is a policymaker or a stakeholder, or a policymaker requires strategic inputs in the long term. A stakeholder who has to, a dredging company who has to do, now how do you even give a dredging contract, or how do you furnish a dredging contract? You need a lot of acoustics to it. And the third is the end user. it is, the one is the data format, and the secondly, how a display will be provided to him requires a lot of, and this all has to be indigenous. I mean, in the initial part, you can definitely hire some sensors, but those sensors have to be adapted, or the sonars have to be adapted to our requirements. So that's something very important. And quickly, just one more minute. Now, in terms of managing the entire dredging ecosystem, the equipment selection, like today, when you have to get a dredger, if you don't know what material you have to dredge, you don't know what to select. Now, and many times a small contractor can only deploy what he has. You can't tell him get this or that. So we have to, like in the earlier times, we do have Geological Survey of India and Botanical Survey. What are these? These are larger institutions which build the information. Now, when you are even making policy, you can so equipment selection will depend on the sediment classification. Second is the environment impact. I disagree with the fact that maintenance doesn't require environment clearance. Anyway, we will discuss that sometime later. So environmental impact is very important. And in many cases, now the Biodiversity Act has recently come up 5 years back. And many, like seaweed industry has been completely shut, where a lot of private players invested a lot of money. So we are signatory to a lot of international norms, and we have to match up. If we don't, then sometime, halfway we are through, and then a lot of restrictions will come in. So we need to look at the reuse potential. How will you give a contract if you don't know what is the reuse potential? Again, that's the start point. So the contract will be decided based on what it can do. What the dredge material can be used. And then the regulatory compliance. Environment is just one, but various other things. Now, even the local communities, wherever there's a big project, local communities are the biggest victim. Whose development are we talking about? The fisheries are in disarray. All the new, everywhere, Virinjam and various other places, there's a huge backlash from the local community. So how can we not build them into this whole process? And the reuse of the dredge material, very specific, can be only planned, and it can be valued based on this. So I think I'll stop there.
I think very pertinent point, sir. We'll deliberate further if time permits. My next question is to our fellow panelist, Mr. Manoj, who comes from Royal IHC. So my question to you, sir, is that how Royal IHC is making dredgers more sustainable and future-proof, and what are the key considerations when transitioning them to alternate fuels in dredging? So your aspect, because you're an important player in the market.
Thank you, Vicky, for giving me this opportunity. Royal IHC, in fact, in its policy mission, in its mission statement, our mission statement states that we strive for efficiency and improvement in efficiency and sustainability in the maritime sector. The concept we have is LEAF, L-E-A-F, that is low energy, and the second part, AF, is standing for AF, is alternate fuel. So if you go to, we started from the design phase, discussing with the customers. In the design phase, it's an evolving process. We try to make the dredger light so that less fuel is used. The dredgers have become wider and more longer. We also incorporate a lot of automation in our dredgers, like the pumps. Pump is more, if you look at the graph, when it is operated manually and when it is in automated mode, the automated mode is in a very thin band, giving again fuel efficiency. We also have incorporated underwater pumps, which sucks more sand than an inboard pump. So there is less within a particular time frame. We can have more production. So this is a continuous process. We are going through it, and another major thing is reduction in speed. On analysis, it's found that 2 knots of reduction of speed comes in effect reduce 50% of propulsion power required. So we are going for wider, lighter, optimum speed, lower speed dredging design. That's one aspect of it. And the second part of the question, which is regards to the alternate fuel, in fact, to DME, we have supplied LNG hybrid vessels, hoppers. The biggest cutter section dredger, the Spectators, is again LNG plus diesel. So, apart from that, when you one thing we have to know, a lot of we have discussed about methanol. Diesel is the best fuel with respect to giving the highest energy density with respect to weight and volume. If you look at diesel is on top, right top of a graph. No alternate fuel can match diesel. So the next best is methanol, but methanol needs a lot of adjustments in the vessel. You have to have cofferdams in the fuel tanks, high pressure pumps. The engine makers have come up with methanol and diesel combined engines. IHC is building a methanol ready vessel, 30,000 cubic meter hopper, presently in our yard in Tindadek. But it is methanol ready. If you have to actually use the methanol, we have to install high pressure pumps, coating of fuel tanks, which all can be done when the methanol supply chain is in place. So also IHC, the government of Netherlands had given a order for designing a hydrogen powered hopper. We did the basic design, class approved, but didn't go ahead because the business case for a hydrogen dredger hopper is not yet there. It's a very expensive to build the vessel and also to source the fuel. Another concept IHC has come up is with the design of a 4,500 cubic meter standard hopper dredger, where only the fuel configurations you can change. All the dredge equipment configuration is the same. You can use the same configuration for liquid hydrogen, CNG, methanol. So as per the customer requirement, the configuration can be made and finalized. So these are the. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think the key takeaway is that there is a portfolio of options available, but again, they are at a very nascent stage. So I'll come back to our first speaker, Sri Durgesh ji. Sir, as you are also from the government side, one particular question which will be coming to everybody's mind is that, how can a policy maker support this transition? How can, from government side, what kind of initiatives will support this kind of transition? And personally, at your, DCIL or VPA, what are the typical challenges you are facing? So if you can highlight those, sir.
See, the basic thing that from government side, this year, government has issued Maritime Development Fund in our budget. That is a very big thing. And as in my initial address, I mentioned that when for this NHI Golden Quadrilateral for road sector was coming up, government constituted a corpus fund at that point of time. So we have to see this Maritime Development Fund in that on that line. Second thing, for insurance sector also, government and ministry is looking into that aspect. How to bring in private sectors also in the insurance, in this maritime sector. Private insurance company to this aspect. So they are examining that also. Besides that, this SDCL, Sagarmala Development Corporation, Company Limited, that has got the status of non-banking financial institution for the maritime sector only. So these are the three things which government has not taken up. It may take some time, but definitely we have started. So for maritime, and there, what I believe that definitely it will be in form of some soft loan. So which will encourage our investors or our entrepreneurs to participate and make use of this. Now coming to the second part of your question, that how DCI also will avail this benefit of this, and we will use this benefit to replace our old reserves, and that definitely will help our efficiency and productivity. Already we have, as you have told, that we have given for Godavari, we are looking for 1-2 more extra measures. We are exploring that options. So these things are in our mind.
Understood.
And, that will definitely help in future. One of my requests to, because ISC is there and they are the key and premier players in this dredging. So if they come up with some ideas, because they are also having if they can establish their own yard or whatever it may be in country, they will avail the benefit of Make in India, and they will avail the benefit of these schemes, Maritime Development Fund and Sagarmala Development Corporation Limited. They can also avail that thing, and that will change the whole scenario. Another thing which I will again request to ISC, that is in smaller sector, particularly for riverine field. In the case of riverine dredging, there are no set standards at present. We are having some local arrangement, and people can constitute. ISC is making bigger dredgers, but dredgers of that category, but they are having very high cost. So if that can be reduced to some level, definitely it will give a very good big market for ISC. I will share one example. Suppose ISC is giving a dredger of 550 or 650 cutter section dredger at 80, 90. The local people who are making some indigenous thing, they are making it for 10, 20 crores, and their strategy is, okay, I am making for one project, they are utilizing it and they are dumping it. So with this sector, and riverine sector is going to be very big, we are not able to introduce this, whatever issues we are highlighting, green alternatives and capital and all those things, we will not be able to. So this is also one aspect where these manufacturing players can take a look at it.
Thank you, sir. I'll just ask one more question and then I'll open the floor. So my next question is to Mr. Brahm. Specifically considering, from your practical experience, how Indian dredging companies or Indian dredging ecosystem can collaborate with global players, to accelerate the sustainable dredging component.
I think you should look at tenders and projects where the L1 lowest cost is always the one who wins the tender, who can execute it. So if you put a weighing factor on sustainability, as you have in Europe, as you have elsewhere in the world, Australia, for example, then you can force, let's say, as a government, you can have a policy, you can support, but you also have to enforce. And at the moment, that is not there. So enforcing this, I think, will help the transition because people have no other option, and they will see the necessity. I'm not qualifying, or I have less points on my tender if I'm not doing this. Then they start thinking. So I think it's a two-way street always. And we have already one in the fleet that is also dual use on methanol and so on, but that's an offshore vessel. But we are also asking for it, and then the supply side needs to follow. So it's a whole combination of all of factors. So you cannot ask investors to do this and then not follow up with supply and not follow up with support and enforcement from the government. So, and I think if you put a framework for 30 years and don't change it, you can change it, but the principles should remain the same. That people see my investment will pay off, then they will do it.
I think very important point you have made. So I think we can open the floor for discussion. So maybe we can start with you, sir.
A question for Mr. Dubey. This is regarding the hydrogen-powered ships. I believe 2 ships are being built in India, which will be powered by green hydrogen. And these are likely to be ready in the next 1 to 2 years. Can you give us any idea about any hydrogen-powered ships in the world which are in operation today?
Oh, I do not have that idea that as far as I know, hydrogen is totally a new fuel which is coming in, particularly for shipping sector. For merchant vessels, they may be having it. Merchant vessels, 1 or 2 may be there, but I am not very sure on it.
The problem is hydrogen, there is not much autonomy. So you can do this, but it's pointless. By the time you finish bunkering, you can restart bunkering, in a matter of speaking. So the density of the fuel is not big enough. So you need to go to more denser fuel. And as Manoj clearly indicated, hydrogen is not one of the winners in density. So you need to go to other fuels that can help you to give autonomy, and then this works.
I'll give you, in your opinion, it is not viable and all that. I'll give you an example of railways. Germany has been running a hydrogen train for the last 6 years. 10 other countries in the world are developing hydrogen trains, which include USA, Canada, UK, China, Japan, India. Can you guess which country is building the most powerful and the longest hydrogen train in the world? Can you make a guess? It is India. And when will it be ready? Next 2 months. So in various areas of technology, we have been lagging behind. Somewhere 3 years, 4 years, 5 years.
No,
in this area, if it is successful, we will become the world leader in the next 6 months.
Here I would like to add one thing, what you have said. In comparison to rail and vessels, they are totally at 2 different level. Reason is, suppose what Mr. Bram has said, that there you are having that flexibility and autonomy to fuel it again. You will from, suppose I take example from Delhi to Calcutta. I will install this hydrogen bunkers at different location, and wherever required, we can fill it. But in case of vessel, suppose my vessel is going from China to US, covering an area of 5,000 kilometers, and in no way it has to be totally dependent on itself. You expect, okay, in midway for diesel, different bunkering points are there. From suppose started from China, it will have Singapore. If going from Singapore, it will go to Colombo or Dubai, and but that is not the case for hydrogen at present. So definitely that is the case, but it will take more time because this increasing the density of hydrogen is still a very big challenge.
In India, we can go up to 350 bars. 1 bar is 1 atmospheric pressure. So worldwide, you can go up to 700 bars. So as you are able to go to higher and higher pressures, so the density keeps on increasing.
Right. Can we have question from the middle? Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Vikas Raunier. I represent Interstate Multimodal Transport from Kathmandu, Nepal. My question is about, don't you think Nepal should invest more in controlling the siltation? Because all the Himalayas, all the water comes to India here. And if we can control the climate change and environmental impacts, because just about a week ago, there was a 2-day rainfall in a small village, and it wiped away about a 2-kilometer road. And all that road will eventually come here, and you have to do dredging. So don't you think Nepal should invest more so that you have less dredging to do? One. And another is a political question, open for all. What do you think? Nepal, all these soil siltations coming to India, Bangladesh, and another island is forming. And who's got the sovereignty right over that land, this new land? Thank you.
No, where that island is coming up? You have mentioned some island.
Yeah, I mean, like in Bangladesh, I think a lot of the small island is being built. All those soils
No,
and the siltation is.
leave political questions for political people.
Okay, okay.
first part, what you said about that dredging activity, that again, I think that has to be dealt at government level. If government of Nepal and government of India collaborate together, definitely some dams and idle projects that can be taken up, which may help. I will say that it will not fully mitigate the flooding problem, but it will definitely help to some extent.
Sir, so if I can quickly come in on the conclaves in 2014, there was a agreement signed between the Indian government and Bangladesh to resolve this issue. The first agreement was signed in 1958 between Jawaharlal Nehru and Firoz Khan Noon. It was struck down by the Supreme Court, saying it didn't have authority. Then the issue was finally resolved by the new Prime Minister in 2014.
From a technological aspect, I just want to add to this. See, when we talk about dredging, I mean, we have to look at the larger sediment management. And when we talk about sediment management, then we have to combine water resource management, urban flooding, port management, coastal management, because sediment management also has a bearing on flooding and erosion, right? So if we don't look at it in an integrated manner, we won't, and that's become a biggest challenge. I mean, having no data, and then, you can't take even a policy decision. So sediment management or silt policy is something we need to look at it in a very holistic manner.
And adding to Mr. Arnav, what I can say you is, in chemistry, there is solution for this kind of a settlement. When you are using certain polyacrylamide-based chemistry, you have a very high chances that you can control turbidity to a very large extent, and that can reduce your flood problem, that can reduce the speed of water coming at a high speed, and it gives a lot of time for you to evacuate people and to make better flood management plan at that time.
I think we have some questions on that side. So you can introduce and then.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Prasad again from International Seaport Dredging, DEME Group. So I have one comment on alternate fuels and then one question to Mr. Arnav Das. So my comment on alternate fuels basically, like, when it's good to talk about using alternate fuels, sustainability and all that. Right now, I'll give you one example. So as per IMO guidelines, we need to use low sulfur fuel on all the ships. So we are using in our dredges VLSFO, very low sulfur fuel oil. We are struggling to get supply from the oil companies most of the times in East Coast. So forget about this hydrogen, methanol and all that. The basic VLSO, our companies are, because the consumption is very low, so the oil companies won't give priority to this VLSO product. So dredges, they will struggle. So this government should focus, and probably they have to take into confidence all the oil companies also to keep all the products readily available to support dredges. So that's my comment. So second, I heard Mr. Arnavdas referring to two of your comments. One, you said the degradation of sonars because of tropical conditions, and the second, the indigenation of data analysis. So now I'm in this industry almost 35 years. So we are using these multi-beam echo sounders, dual frequency echo sounders and all that. Even when we are providing our dredging services to Indian Navy, so they are the best Naval Hydrographic Office and all that who prepare these Admiralty charts and all that. I never ever find any errors or with this acquisition of data. Normally, what I understand, the sonars will have impact when you acquire the data. So how do you, you are saying on one hand, there is a degradation, so which obviously it should have an impact on data acquisition. And indigenation of data analysis, if your data itself is wrong, what you acquire, how it helps in indigenation of your data analysis. Can you please explain it?
Yeah, thank you. I've also been in the Navy and I've operated sonar for 20 years. And I've done my PhD on the same subject. So acoustic signal processing is what I'm talking about. So we have to do a lot of modeling of the tropical waters. So I can give you an example of a typical sonar that I've operated, 32 nautical miles in the Russian waters and 6 nautical miles in our waters. So that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I've probably given you a conservative figure of 60%. It's a little worse than that, right? So this is primarily because of the tropical uh, uh, sound profile, which causes the refraction, total internal refraction that you've heard of, the Snell's law that we talk about, that diverts it in such a way that the performance degrades. Now, how to improve it is there are two factors. One is the ambient noise, and the second is the underwater channel acoustic modeling. So if we can do that, we can definitely enhance the performance. I can't make 6 nautical miles to 32 nautical miles, but even if I can make 6 to 12, which is possible, we have our asset deployment will become half. I hope that answers your question.
Just to add on to that, as a supplementary question, when you say the impact of this degradation of sonar, in terms of the depth, whether it is in millimeters or centimeters or in meters, the impact will be when you measure with this sonars.
No, there are two things we are talking about. One is the detection range. I mean, at what range you are, what you are transmitting and the echo that is coming back. So that is impacted by the SNR, right? SNR is the ambient noise. So the ambient noise in the particular region at the receiver location will determine what kind of ranges you'll get. But the second part is the sediment classification. So when we talk about classification, there are multiple techniques in pattern recognition which can do the enhancement. So I think we'll not get into technicalities, but there's enough documentation to, I mean, it's not that I'm saying this, there's enough documentation in literature which kind of...
No, I'm not, don't take me wrong, I'm not conflicting with your thing. So this is the first time we are hearing. So it's a new thing for us.
Thank you for that. Yeah. But the point is that there is enough literature, just that we have not looked at it. That is the only thing. And not that I have done any new, kind of discovery. This is a well-known fact. But our policymakers need to understand this. Our stakeholders, operators need to understand this. So when we are getting some technology from outside, we need to be aware what are the limitations, because we are paying high cost for this. So our dependence on our partners from outside, we need to ask the right questions. Because typically what happens is the entire ISET 2C to understand and to share comes as one package. Like this mobile, you use only 10% of what it gives you, but you're paying 100% for this. So if we can break down, we can bring down the cost also. And this is a prerequisite, because between hydraulic dredging to cutter dredging, the cost is almost 100 times more, right? And many places, like Sir talked about water bodies and all, that is soft silt. Hydraulic suction machine is good enough, and the cost can come down significantly. Unimaginably, it can come down. So that is a start point.
We'll take one or two questions more. So maybe one from the backside. So please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon all. Myself Shobit Gupta from Rights Limited. My question is to Mr. Amey Pratap Singh. Sir, actually in some of our projects, we do encounter the rocky strata in the seabed. The only option which we have that time is the blasting. So are there any other sustainable practices by which we can avoid the blasting for dredging?
I mean, it depends on the rock strength. To a certain extent, I think ISDPL has one of those large cutter suction dredgers which can cut rock up to significant strength, but generally in the Indian market, they're not available. We are currently doing one project where the rock strength is around 120, 130 MPa, where we are using blasting techniques.
Okay.
So it depends on the rock strength. Things have evolved to an extent where maybe certain strength of rock which would have earlier required blasting may not require it anymore, as I said. But beyond a particular strength, you can't help it. Okay. You require drilling and then blasting.
If there are no further questions, I think we can close the session now. So, I would really like to thank all my fellow panelists, Shri Durgesh Kumar Dubeji, Mr. Bram, Mr. Amit Singh, Mr. Gaurav Kumar, Dr. Arnab Das, and Mr. Manoj. Just some, important points, just key takeaways that, some valuable perspectives on sustainability, innovation, and collaboration were discussed, and they must go hand in hand in shaping the future of the dredging. This is not the end, but in fact, this is the start of a stronger partnership, practical actions, and policy reform. So thank you once again, and let's continue to work together on the sustainability initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, speakers. Thank you, Ankush. This was interesting, certainly an interesting session, and we do have a long way and further to go towards integrating dredging in sustainable development. I'd like to request the panel to rise for the group photograph. And with this, we come to an end of the Dredging India Conclave. I'd like to request all the delegates and our esteemed speakers to join us for the lunch on the third floor. Thank you.